Hello? You can see me better now. I figured out what the problem was. I fixed it. And now we're here. Last video, I sent people videos of 10 men and said, tell me whether you think these men are natty or not. This time, I got 10 women, did the same process, and now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go through these together. I'm gonna go through a little bit about what each person does, and we're gonna discuss whether they're natural or not. I feel like before we do this one, I do need to preface, again, this is not science. None of this is science. We have not used the scientific method for this. We've skipped several parts, so none of this should be taken as fact, especially since all I collected was opinion. Steroids or not, every single person in these videos works extremely hard. I don't think being on steroids or not being on steroids takes away from that necessarily. This is kind of just a fun experiment to see whether or not the average person can suss out to their best judgment whether someone's natural. All right, let's do this. First off, we got Andrea Shaw. Andrea Shaw is a professional bodybuilder. She competes in the Olympia, of which she has won 6. For reference, the record is 10, so she's really not that far off. She literally just won this last 2025 Miss Olympia. 87.5% of you said that she was not natural, and that is true. She is not natural. I think a general frame of reference for this is that when it comes to anything at the pro level, especially when it comes to fitness, the chances are usually higher than not that the top competitors like herself are on steroids. That's just the way things are. Next, Sarah Safari. Sarah Safari is another content creator, big on shorts and on TikTok. She hangs out with streamers a lot, and she also streams herself. 75% of you said that she is natural, and that is wow, that is correct. Sarah Safari is natural. Sarah Safari's been working out for at least the past like 5 years or something like that, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. Next up is Lona Mar, Olympic rugby player, won a bronze medal in the 2024 Paris Olympics. That was the first Olympic medal ever scored for the U.S. Women's Rugby Sevens team. Everyone was kind of going crazy when this happened, and I think from there we've seen a lot more of her just in general in the media. 95.8% of you said that she is natural. That is correct. It's not like she's too big or too lean. I also argue that she's not too strong. If you watched the Olympics, everyone kind of had like a similar level of strength. Next, Melissa Peacock. Melissa is a strong woman. She's a professional strong woman. She placed 3rd in this last World's Ultimate Strong Woman. She is a Shaw Classic Women's Open champion, U82 champion for the Arnold Amateur. She has been competing for the last 9 years. 83.3% of you said that she is not natural. Technically, it's hard to say, but if you said she was not natural, I'm going to give you the point here. One of the bigger arguments for her not being natural is the fact that she competes in non-tested events, and generally speaking, when you're at the top of those events, especially when you place, you're more likely than not using some sort of performance-enhancing drugs. So we're gonna go with non-natty, but just understand that the proof here is a lot more theoretical than not. Number 5, Shireen Abdelhadi, another content creator. She is a fitness coach, has a doctorate in physical therapy. 54.2% of you said that she is natural, and I would agree. I think she is natural. She's been lifting for the past like 10 years. There's nothing really to suggest that she's not natural. Her lifts aren't so insane for the amount of time that she's been working out. Shireen Abdelhadi, natural. Also, if you know Shireen, you might know her brother, Hadi. Diamond Gym has been going kind of crazy recently in at least fitness areas in TikTok, and it's gone very viral like a good couple of times, Joe. You might know him too. Next, Chloe Ting, really big during the COVID era. I feel like that's where people heard about her the most. A lot of really good at-home workouts. She's got a lot of HIIT workouts. That's kind of how people know her, probably through her YouTube. 70.8% of you said that she's natural, and she's not. She got cosmetic surgery at some point from the pandemic to now. Next up, Miss Carrie June, another content creator. She's got a company called Mini Beast. They do a lot of like supplements, gym gear, sportswear, all you know, related to fitness. 75% of you said that she's natural, and I had to sit here and contemplate for a very long time. Does it seem super unnatural if she's kind of like another Brody Falgoss, where just 1 in a million genetics. It doesn't seem super implausible, so we're gonna go with natural. Number 8, She-Bulk, another content creator, comedic gym influencer. 54.2% of you said not natural. She-Bulk is natural based on her transformation that is, I'm pretty sure, very clearly documented across TikTok. It really doesn't seem like she's on any sort of like gear or anything like that. Number 9, Lean Beef Patty, content creator, makes a lot of really good short form videos. I use a lot of her leg day warm-up routine videos because I got bad knees. 62.5% of you said that she's natural, and 62.5% of you be correct. Lean Beef Patty's natural. And last but not least, Chris Cyborg. Chris Cyborg is an MMA fighter. She specifically fights in the UFC. Chris Cyborg is 29-2 with 21 TKOs. She's currently not ranked in the UFC right now, but many people widely regard her as the #1 women's featherweight, if not #2 at least. 52.2% of you said that she is natural. She's not. She failed a drug test that found that she was using anabolic steroids in 2012. 62.5% of you said that you exercise several times a week. It seems like a majority of you don't really get a lot of fitness content. The majority of you don't really get a lot of fitness content, and the other majority gets a little bit. So it's a little more evenly split than last time. Actually, more than half of you this time, more than half of you actually knew at least one person that I showed you. And the 2 most recognized people, according to the survey, were Alona Mar, which makes sense, and Lean Beef Patty, which also makes sense. I was expecting it to be Chloe Ting just because of her fame during COVID, but I was wrong. Despite more than half of you knowing at least one person, 90.9% of you did not know their natty statuses. I asked some additional questions this time, which you guys so graciously answered. 78.3% of you said that having context might have influenced how you judged if they were natural or not. I was thinking about this during the last video. These pictures and videos that we see of people can sometimes be devoid of context. The likelihood of someone having used steroids or performance-enhancing drugs increases depending on what the context is. Length of time is one of the key indicators that people use to determine whether someone is lying about their natty status. There are more obvious ones like severe back knee, gyno, stuff like that, but the average person probably isn't looking for that. When I asked why people thought that context might help, people said a lot of the same stuff that I just did. Half of you are indifferent to people taking steroids or getting surgeries to kind of alter the way they look. The rest of you were essentially saying you're against people doing it if they're promoting some kind of fitness product or fitness lifestyle and telling people that they can get this jacked natural. All of the answers to this chart is yes in different form. You guys either just said, yes, people should be honest, or they should be honest if they're promoting a product related to physical health and wellness. Everyone did a lot better this time around. The majority score was a 7 out of 10. I was trying to figure out why. Maybe everyone was doing a little bit better. It seems like these body types are all pretty vastly different from each other in comparison to the men. Like, the men generally have a six-pack, they're at a really low body fat percentage, this sort of uniform look, which is threaded with a six-pack, which is fine because their content style differs a lot. I don't know if maybe the look just ends up being formal or people are only interested in looking at men that have that sort of look when it comes to fitness. I think despite the case being the same with a lot of these women, their body types are very different from each other. So I think it's actually a little bit easier as you go down the list to try and make a determination of what you think might be natural, what you think might be not, because it's easier to take them on a little bit of a case-by-case basis. And maybe you're not as influenced as like the last guy who also looked the exact same when you're trying to figure out whether one used steroids or not. What I also think is interesting is the answers that I actually wanted to get from the first survey, but I ended up forgetting to put them in the quiz. But I think they're interesting because what people seem to value, again, this is pseudoscience. This is not real science. Nothing real is happening. But it seems like people do care about honesty when it comes to whether someone is on performance-enhancing drugs or not. If people want to go into fitness and they want to get healthier, for example, let's say they've never stepped inside a gym before, maybe they want to look like somebody or they want to look a certain way, they need to know whether or not the physique they're striving for is something that they can actually achieve without having to take performance-enhancing drugs. If you're claiming that you're natural and you're not, people are probably going to at least expect you to be telling the truth about yourself half the time. What I've noticed on a lot of fitness content is that someone posts a workout and they say that it's their workout and they have a really good physique. Even if they don't say like you can look like me, the natural assumption is that if you do a certain person's workout, you can achieve the physique that they have. You're probably also thinking, I can achieve the physique that I want to have on my body if I follow this person's workout. You're thinking the goals that I want will happen if I follow this person's program. And if this person says you can do it naturally, then you're going to think, okay, if I follow this program, I can achieve these goals in a healthy and stable kind of way. But if you're lying about it and you're taking steroids, it's disheartening for a person that's been following you for this long. Even if you're posting good content and you're posting important health and wellness content, if you are lying about the physique you have, they're going to think everything you've been saying is a lie, which I think is part of why people care about whether someone's natural or not. Because someone else taking steroids doesn't automatically inject steroids into our systems. It's not like we're getting secretly dosed. People value honesty when it comes to the things that they're interacting with. If you lack transparency in something like fitness, especially because it's something that people will invest a lot of time and effort into if they're really serious about it, then that says something about the content that you make that is going to make people want to watch you less. Does anyone remember Liver King? That was a mess. Anyway, thank you again to everyone that participated. This was really fun. You guys did way better this time. This study is over, but I've got more content ideas in the future, so please stay tuned. If you want, let me know if you have something else that you want me to talk about on this channel. That's it. Bye.